Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
How you move somebody? Say you stay here, and then you write a law saying it's illegal for them to be there.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to 100K. And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
This strip in Cape Town, South Africa, divides the beachside community of Strand from the township of Nomzamo. They're only a few meters apart, but the people on each side live very different lives.
Is this one city?
I mean, the strip,
Look, the roads. The roads is different. We're fitting.
Yo, you can literally count like
1, 2, 3, 4. We're fitting. It looks like 10 homes in a small area.
Jam packed. This is real tight.
Why such a difference?
Yeah.
Is this one okay? So townships, but is it governed by the same government?
Yeah, good. That's it right there. Is it governed by the same government? Because I think the answer is no. Could be. Could be. Could be. Could be.
This crazy.
Could be.
I hope not, because if so, it's 2022.
Yeah. I'm trying to see the story, what's going on there, and why it's separated like this. I gotta know what's going on.
So crazy.
Strand has backyards and driveways. Nomzamo is much more dense, and the people here have fewer basic services. Less piped water.
Whoa.
Less internet access.
Whoa.
And Nomzamo is majority black, while the area across the line is majority white. If we use dots on a map to represent race, you can see how stark that divide is. If we zoom out to the whole city, we can see it's actually everywhere.
What?
So
and
this is a part of
the case across much of South Africa. The color of your skin here often determines where you live. It also determines your quality of life. This map shows where jobs and opportunities are primarily concentrated in Cape Town. And this is where most of the city's black people live, in informal settlements called townships on the city's periphery.
People have to move by public transport for up to 3 hours a day, and they can't take care of their obligations in the community with the rest of the family because they're always working and they're always traveling.
For decades, South Africa was under apartheid, a system that wrote segregation into law. A white minority controlled where non-white people could live, work, exist. Many were forced out of their homes. In 1994, a democratically elected government took power and ended apartheid. It was supposed to be a new beginning. But a lot of the country still looks like this. And that's because South Africa's
So do they are they able to even go to that side still? Like, because I remember once upon a time she said that it was a non-black, right? Environment, I believe.
Basically
segregation.
Yeah. So a lot of them have to either commute. It seems like they have to commute.
It's like a wall almost.
They said it is 3 hours away to have a good job, save up money to move out.
Your neighbor right there.
But I mean, if the government ended it, why weren't changes made?
You know me, I'm always revert back to money. Because it's like how the money is being spent.
Yeah, but you also... we haven't always had it good.
Yeah.
And not good, but I'm saying like, you know, the urbanization of America. You know, segregation for us ended in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in 2022. We've had some time to grow. This wasn't that long ago. But
Yeah, I see what you're
still,
saying.
like,
Yeah.
This is tough.
Legacy of racial division goes back centuries. In the 1600s, the Dutch took over the southern tip of Africa to supply ships with food along the trade route to Asia. 150 years later, Britain seized it and named it Cape Colony. Many Dutch colonists moved here, further inland, to escape British rule and continue exploiting enslaved people. Just like the Dutch, the British used Cape Colony as a strategic location for trade. It wasn't economically significant. But in the 1870s, that changed when the British started mining diamonds there. Suddenly, Cape Colony was one of Britain's most prized and exploited colonies. In order to get the diamonds out of the country, they built railways to connect the mines up here to the coast. The railways allowed the British to access a global diamond market through the port city of Cape Town. Soon, the economy of Cape Colony was centered around the railroads, especially this main route. The green areas on this map show the black regions of Cape Colony, largely left out of the railroad economy. Racial inequality in Cape Colony was being reinforced by location. To keep it that way, the colonial government started writing segregation into law. The Native Lands Act of 1913 pushed black people into these areas,
Away from the railroad tracks, basically,
of South Africa's land, and restricted them from owning land everywhere else.
Wow.
Or relocated them to the edges of the major cities to work for white people. These laws began to shape the region. Cape Town's growth from the increased trade turned the port town into a major city. Many migrants from the rest of the colony and elsewhere moved here, to what was then the outskirts of Cape Town, where former enslaved people, merchants, artists, and immigrants were forming a neighborhood called District 6. As the city grew around District 6, so did the neighborhood. For decades, District 6 was a thriving, integrated community.
We were a very cosmopolitan, you could say, family almost, because there were people from all different nationalities, from all different walks of life.
This was the statement, your child is my child.
But it wouldn't last. In 1934, Britain's legal hold in what was now the Union of South Africa officially ended. The remaining white minority, the descendants of Dutch colonists, took control. Between 1949 and 1971, the all-white government passed 148 laws solidifying apartheid.
Apartheid allowed for the full realization of the
Hold on. Wait a minute. It ended, and then they reinforced it with even more.
Yeah, because it's like it just don't really end. It's just always reworded at some point. Like it worked for them. You know what I'm saying? So they want to put it in play as long and as much as possible.
Now,
they literally got pushed. Like all the blacks literally got pushed away from land, money, transportation, and then expect them to work.
Yeah, like
I don't.
nah. Y'all, this is tough. This
of the fascist project in South Africa.
In 1950, the Population Registration Act officially classified people by race: white, colored, and native or black, and eventually Asian. Then they made laws saying where people could live. Around the country, black South Africans were moved into these areas, called homelands or Bantustans. Bantustans were rural areas and had underdeveloped economies. Many of them were in the areas Britain had already excluded from the railway economy, and where black land ownership had been restricted to. Black people were forced to carry passbooks that specified where they were allowed to work or travel to. In cities like Cape Town, the Group Areas Act moved the remaining non-whites into separate urban areas.
The most prime land and the...
Okay, white people, let's go. We're going to make sure all y'all safe and y'all secured and y'all got everything y'all need to feed and to survive and to build and live. They didn't get a passport? They didn't get a passport? A passport?
Yeah.
Was it a passport?
Woo!
That's wild, bro. That's crazy.
I just always get hit in the face when I see the dates.
Yeah.
Our parents were alive during this time.
Land closest to high-valued property was allocated to white people.
In 1966, the government declared that District 6 was now a whites-only area. The residents of District 6 received removal letters like this one that said living there was illegal because they were not white. Bulldozers drove into District 6 and razed it to the ground.
Yeah, they about to just start rebuilding now.
We lived here. We had a life here.
It was very traumatic for a lot of people.
It's like ripping out someone's heart.
More than
and that kind of takes back home how it is in today and age where they start building these plant bases and they have to wipe out a whole little town or community just so they can build fractured buildings to create and pump out, whatever it is they need to pump out so they can make more money. You know what I'm saying?
Especially after a natural disaster.
Especially after a natural disaster. Flooding, hurricanes. Once that happen, then they come in and say, hey, you know what? Ain't no use of this being still available. Let's go ahead and build something here. We're going to make all these families move out, and then we're going to start building buildings here where we can put our people in and start working. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's what it is. That's
how you move somebody. Say, you stay here. And then you write a law saying it's illegal for them to be there.
That's wild, man. That's wild. That's wild.
Could y'all imagine me in my history class how I used to go back and forth with my history teacher as if she was the one that did all this stuff?
Yeah.
that used to be me in front of the class like, no!
Yeah, because you talking and teaching about it, but you don't think the kids or the students have questions and answers and concerns to why that was happening? Like, that's just, it's mind-boggling. Like, you can't sit quiet in the class and not know or not have a question to none of this type of stuff. Like, because it's real, but it's unrealistic at some point.
Yeah,
like
in our heads. Like, it's like, why was things like this? Like, we're all people.
Right.
At the end of the day, just with different, complexions, different, the way we think is different. But at the end of the day, we're all people. We all came into this life in the same way.
Through the same way.
We all gonna leave the same way.
Man.
60,000 people were forcibly removed from their homes. This kind of violence against non-white people was commonplace around the country. But after decades of pressure, both from within South Africa and abroad, apartheid rule finally came to an end. The new government lifted restrictions on where people could live. Millions of people who had been excluded from economic development for centuries migrated to major cities looking for basic services and economic opportunity.
For any family with no prospect of employment, the most rational, logical choice to make is to migrate to an urban center.
They settled where there was empty land, creating townships on the peripheries of major cities, like Cape Town. The government built millions of homes and expanded clean water and electricity.
So I think that goes back to your question if it's ran by the same government. And it is. It's so far, from what I just heard, it seemed like it is.
Okay, so it's government homes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. But still, we gonna upgrade these government homes? I mean,
Yeah, they need a
that
raise,
is
man.
what, like, it's, for example, after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, they tore all the project apartments down
Talking about schools too.
and rebuilt new government homes that looks nicer.
That are unaffordable. I say that right?
No.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Unaffordable.
Unaffordable?
Like, you got
What?
me messing it up.
Why that word came out like that? It's my accent, y'all. It's just
It's unaffordable.
my words roll sometimes, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And people just wasn't able to purchase these homes, so it just kind of like pushed them out even more.
Well, the government homes, you gotta qualify for them.
But are they qualifying after they lose everything?
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? These things are thought out. Nothing. It's just a coincidence, bro. Like these things are really thought out. So like, yeah, it happened. They can't really afford. Credit probably shot. Money shot. Like, what are we gonna do?
Right. I just upgrade them. Come on now. Like, just because they're government homes doesn't mean that it has to look run down or, upgrade. Upgrade them.
Had a number of unforeseen consequences, the most important of which is that the only land that could be used for the public housing program was on the periphery of the city. And for that reason, a brilliant intention to overcome the apartheid legacy unintentionally reproduced the very same legacy it was trying to undo.
Today, 60% of the mostly black population of Cape Town lives in these townships at the edge of the city. The thing is, Cape Town city center has land to develop, but because of its location, it's valuable. So it usually gets sold to private developers who build luxury apartments. Nearly $1 billion worth of them are going up by the coast. But right in the heart of Cape Town, by all the expensive developments, District 6 remains largely untouched. The former residents have fought against private development, and they've actually succeeded. Some have even managed to return to houses built by the city.
I wanted to come back here where I was born, which was part of our whole family's heritage.
I couldn't believe that I was back. It was a sense of relief.
But there are still hundreds of claimants waiting to get back to District 6.
We haven't done the difficult and the painful work to confront what the intergenerational consequences are of colonialism, of apartheid.
The story of Cape Town and South Africa's racial segregation starts far in the past, but it's very much entangled with the present. Apartheid and colonialism here are over, but many of the barriers they built have yet to be dismantled.
The kind of psychic scars that's left on individuals and on communities, we haven't begun the work of saying, how do we live together, right? In the face of that history.
This was a very, very, very hard video to do.
Yeah.
Very, extremely hard, especially when it was not that long ago. Especially knowing that people still live there. Y'all, we try to educate and bring a lot of awareness to things on this channel. What do we have to do?
I think that's always the question, though. I mean, I feel like as watching and observing just how people just operate, we always do the thing that we need to do. We're just not doing it in the direction we need to do it. Like, we can talk about music, for instance. People will get together for music. Like, we would get together for music, create beautiful music, sounds, party, dance, create movements. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to alter, like, changing your focus and taking the same group of people, but now put them in this type of scenario, it's like conflict sort of starts to pop up. And it don't have to be like that. It's just unifying with a one mind, one goal, and then pushing on that direction.
Right. I know a lot about Nelson Mandela and his work that he did, especially the sacrifices that he made.
Mm-hmm.
But the maps, I've never seen a map like that before. That caught me completely off guard. That map hurt my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a tough conversation. Let's be respectful in the comment section. Okay? Let's continue this conversation there. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks. If you like to support the channel that way, as well as our join feature to become a VIP member of the channel. Send in your reaction request through our form in the description box below. We'll see you soon. Peace.